my Legend of Zelda themed campaign's first boss goes from stacked to smacked, thanks to a caster with a death wish. Coming right up on FlavorText. Dax here. This is episode 1 of a series of campaign diaries that follows the shenanigans of a group of friends playing games of Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, and other tabletop role-playing games. These will be stories of player wits, player crits, and the occasional player twits. Enjoy! First, some background. I wanted to create a Pathfinder campaign based on my love of the Legend of Zelda video game series. It's an easy conversion. Just a quick relabeling of some races. Humans to Hylians, elves to Zora, dwarves, you're Gorons now. Halflings and gnomes can become Kokiri and Korok, and can chill in the forest and play tag together, or something. Ocarina of Time map plus Breath of the Wild's Hebra region, boom! World map finished. Lore, easy. We can just use the canon Legend of Zelda timeline. Okay, never mind that. A few modifications needed to be made. First, there were a few elemental weaknesses to sort out. Zora are weak to electricity, Koroks are made of wood and can catch on fire, and Gorons can't swim. So Rachel's stat blocks were modified to reflect these weaknesses. My players ended up picking Umara, the Zora Ranger, Koya, the Sheikah Rogue, Jitsuko, the Rito Cleric, and Party Mom, the other kind of Party Mom, Poco, the Korok Sorcerer, and Sierre, the Twily Hunter. She entered in a little bit later. To keep weaknesses from forever defining the characters, different items were placed in the world to negate those weaknesses. A shockproof suit in the forest, and a fireproof tunic on Death Mountain waited for their future masters to completely ignore them. Umara gave the shockproof suit to our squishy long-range specialist, who was only in direct combat if we done F up. And Poco earned the fireproof tunic in a game of Goron Sumo, and decided that,
you know what? I know we're about to head into a fire volcano, it's live, and I'm weak to that, but how much fire can there really be?
But I'm going on a bit of a sidebar here, because while I had hoped that the 3 people in my party with knowledge of the Zelda series would push the group to go to the forest first, they did not. Their first dungeon was Jabu Jabu's Belly, the most battle-heavy dungeon. They were at level 1. So some puzzles, an irate fish princess, a kraken, and a quest item later, and they'd entered the belly of the beast. The entire dungeon was technically the belly of the beast, but they found the beast in the belly of the belly of the beast. Boss fight! They found the boss fight, alright? The music surged with newfound tension as Barinade, the bioelectric enemy, rose in front of them. A pulsing, seething core akin to a polluted heart writhed underneath antennae that flitted to and fro, firing beams of electricity. All of this was surrounded by a lethal merry-go-round of jellyfish tethered to the main body by bands of electricity, themselves surging with lethal lightning. Did I mention there was a lot of electricity? Time to roll initiative! Umara the Zora Ranger won out and stared down the grand aberration, surrounded by jellyfish, literally crackling with her bane. She swallowed her fear. I charge! Nat 20. Critical hit. One-shotting the first satellite jellyfish into piles of jelly squish. Umara, what is your spear made of? Metal. That was the moment Umara knew that she had effed up. The jellyfish had a passive ability that caused them to electrocute characters that touched them. When combined with a weakness to electricity, it wasn't exactly good for a level 1 character's health and well-being.
Hey guys, I'm at -3.
A lot of things started happening all at once. Bird Mom did what healers do best, Koya started firing from range, and Poco...
I'd like to use my move action to hookshot up to the top of its head.
What? 2 things. 1, Poco is a sorcerer class. No armor, unimpressive health pool, big damage, but usually from a distance that prevents him from getting smashed into teensy tiny bits. 2, the hookshot is an item in the Legend of Zelda series that allows the player to cross distances safely. I gave it to them as their first quest item, under the same characteristics. So the party tank goes down in 1 hit, and the glass cannon asks specifically to be brought to the closest possible spot on the giant boss monster, away from the party's only healer. This might not be the best, and he's gone.
No bully the bully!
Poco embeds his sword in the crown of this seething monstrosity. He immediately takes severe retaliation. And I was really worried that I was about to have my players party wipe on the first boss. Thankfully, I did have a save file feature, so they could just reload the save file and...
I hookshot its face to the ground. I attached the hookshot to my sword stuck in the thing's head and fired at the ground in order to topple it over.
Pass a strength check on whether the sword stays stuck.
Pass.
Make a ranged attack to hit the ground.
Pass.
You have rendered Barinade helpless, I guess? They swarmed the beast and made quick work of its remaining health pool. I went from one panic attack to a completely different type of panic attack, with the realization that this was supposed to be a massive threatening boss, and he went down like a little wench. But in a game that rewards player creativity and ingenuity, it was a battle well won. And that was how my level 1 party took down the boss of level 3, and were well on their way to becoming the heroes of all Hyrule.
Yes, maybe?
The next course. My own party uses the items I gave them against me in a case of Final Fantasy Syndrome gone wrong. Coming up next time on FlavorText.